Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets. All for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. BK, have it your way.
Before we dive into the chaos of the coaching carousel and a wild weekend of playoff football, let's talk about a different kind of heavy hitter. At Burger King, they know the celebrities don't inspire the menu. You do. And you ask for bold steakhouse flavor, and that's why the Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper is officially here for 2026. We're talking a quarter pound of flame-grilled beef topped with golden onion rings, crispy bacon, sauteed mushrooms, Swiss cheese, and a creamy peppercorn aioli. It's the burger you literally helped build through the Whopper by You platform. And if the coaching search for your team is feeling a little heavy, grab some emotional support in the form of the new cinnamon apple pie. It's warm, it's flaky, and it's the perfect way to finish a meal. Head to Burger King today and rule your hunger. Burger King, you rule. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LeatherBrainz. We thought Black Monday was the main event, but the NFL said, hold my beer. Last week, the league was rocked by 2 seismic shifts that happened after the usual firing window. The end of an 18-year dynasty in Baltimore, ladies and gentlemen, with John Harbaugh being let go and the mad scientist, some are calling him the manager of a 24-hour fitness, Mike McDaniel, getting booted out of Miami. But while those seats were cooling, the field was heating up. We just wrapped a wild card weekend that saw Caleb Williams pull off a miracle in Chicago. The 49ers survive a slugfest in Philly, and the Patriots absolutely stifle Justin Herbert and Harbaugh. Today, we're going to be cleaning up the coaching carnage and breaking down every single hit, catch, and collapse from the first round of the postseason. It is a massive Monday show. Let's jump in. But before we do, I just got to say, it is so damn nice to have everybody here today. Alan, you and I have missed each other these last few weeks and been running the show solo. Today, we have all of us here together to include producer Scotty. So we finally have all the boys here today, and I'm so excited to do this show with you. Scotty.
I'm fine.
You've been gone for a month and a half. I don't want to say becoming a father, but that's pretty much the stint of it.
You could say becoming a father. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. How's it going? Well, welcome to fatherhood.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's all cracked up to be just yet. Yeah, we did have some sex, so that's always
congratulations.
Good. Yeah. But going into being a dad, your significant other is pregnant for about 9 months or so. And during that time, I spent countless hours researching and learning and trying to figure out how to do all this stuff and prepare myself. I feel like I did a pretty good job. But I learned there's one thing that I was not prepared for. And I feel like it is my duty now as a new dad to warn all the other, if your wife or girlfriend or significant other or whatever is pregnant, you're expecting a baby, you need to know this because it's maybe the most prevalent lesson that I've learned in fatherhood, which is this. Just like what you just did, you have your kid, and then you talk to people for the first time since then, and they ask you, hey, how's life going? How's life going with your kid? And here's typically how it goes. Especially people who already have children, this is how the conversation goes. They say, hey, producer Scotty, how's the new baby? And I say, it's great. We're very blessed, happy to be where we're at. Just very tired. I'm just exhausted. Say something to that effect. And then they respond with, well, actually, this is the easiest point of parenthood that you'll ever have. Actually, this is as easy as it gets. And here's the thing.
Does that make you feel good or bad?
Objectively, I'm sure it's true because with a newborn baby, if you need to focus on something, you just put them down. Like they're not running away. They're not trying to kill themselves with a hairdryer or whatever a 2-year-old can do. So I'm sure it's right. I'm sure it's correct. But I have been operating off of about 2.5 hours of sleep for a month and a half now. And even though it might be true that this is the easiest it gets, don't tell me that. Please just lie to me. Like, say anything else. Because what I'm going through right now, what my wife and I are doing right now, if you want to go be a Navy SEAL, a big part of your training is how to operate while sleep deprived. I've just been doing it for a month and a half. Okay. There's tier 1 operators who are training to do what I am doing right now. So don't just tell me it's going to be fucking easy. Like, don't tell me, this is the easy part. Don't be fucking baby about it. It's not that easy.
Did you just compare being a father to being a Navy SEAL?
I did.
I want to make sure that I'm understanding this properly.
Yeah, well, you don't understand how much sleep matters until you don't have it for a long period of time. Because like we're all relatively young, we can operate with no sleep, kind of. But when
I don't even agree with that because I very much value my sleep, probably more than most people. And if I'm even like 30 minutes off on my sleep, I'm a different person. So operating off 2.5 hours sounds absolutely terrible.
Well, it's just like your brain doesn't function. It doesn't. So like there's, I do at least one just very stupid thing every day. Like, like sometimes you're just not, your head's not right and you like put the remote control in the freezer or something. I do something like that literally every single day. It's just, my brain just doesn't work.
This kid's going to have a real problem at 2 years old when the hair dryers are right
next
to the bathtub full of
But
water.
at least, we're going to have to try, 2-year-olds are very much little suicide machines. Like they're always just trying, to do new things and you're always afraid they're going to hurt themselves. But at least I can put him to bed at like 9 o'clock and he'll
hilarious.
sleep for a little bit.
You better hope they sleep.
It gets, Scotty, I'm here to tell you it gets easier.
Thanks, bro. I really needed to hear that.
I'm dead serious. It gets so much easier.
Honestly,
I'm not a father,
the whole parenthood
so I have
thing
no
is,
advice.
so far, it is pretty easy because, all he does is eat and sleep and poop. But he doesn't sleep when I want him to sleep and for as long as I want him to sleep.
Have you thought about asking him if he would just sleep?
Yeah, I've been talking to him, but I'm not sure if English is his first language or not. I don't know when you find that out because he doesn't answer me. So I don't know.
Well,
if
your wife
I need
is
to try.
Hispanic, so maybe she's feeding him. Try saying it in Spanish. I don't know how to say go to sleep in Spanish, but that might be a
Alan,
move.
Can you teach me?
No, that I don't know either. I'm a terrible Hispanic.
Sorry.
I'm not the one. I'm not the one you kick
racist.
out. I'm the one you leave.
Well, congratulations.
I was just gonna say I don't take any responsibility for anything that I say during this podcast because being this sleep deprived and talking into a microphone is a really stupid combination.
Hey, I'm proud of you.
Thanks, bro.
B1 Trucker 662 says it doesn't change. My son is 25 now, broke his leg skateboarding.
Oh God!
You never stop fearing that they'll hurt
That's
themselves.
true. So that's 100% true.
I believe it.
You're scared about different things as they get older.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. Like
Sorry about his leg.
meth.
That blows.
But overall, all things are very good, and we're very blessed. And he's pretty cute. So I don't know if he looks like me or looks like my wife, but he looks cute. However,
I don't think babies
Does
start to
he
look
like
they're-
you a little bit?
Okay, he doesn't look like the opposite of me. if that's what you're asking.
Okay. He has a little mustache.
We'd have some
At least he looks enough like me for it to be passable, so we can just pretend like that's the
nobody's
case, no matter
asking
what.
anything.
I'm
quite
not
yet.
asking any questions.
Okay.
Does he have like a mustache indent coming in yet?
Yeah.
He does have what we refer to as the family lip. Everyone in my family's got a really prominent upper lip. He's got that hardcore. So his mustache will be good. Will be
That's
good.
Nice.
good. That's good.
Yeah,
Solid.
very important.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Good for you.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone cares about my baby anymore. So let's talk football.
No, well, we do care about your baby, and I'm really happy for you. But have you, amidst all the chaos of becoming a father, have you had the opportunity to consume football?
Yes. So it has been a little bit more difficult, admittedly. But specifically once the postseason has started, I have done nothing but consume football. So I am prepared to talk about the games that we're going to talk about today from Wild Card Week.
It's been
cool.
This game or this slate of games was incredible. Before we get to it, though, I didn't cover last week, and we need to talk about it. The two head coaches that I'd kind of given during the intro. So we'll start with Mike McDaniel. It's the end of, as Alan would say, the 24-hour fitness manager has been fired from Miami. So Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, he officially relieved McDaniels of his duties on January 8th after a disappointing 7-10 season, which was interesting because he did survive Black Monday. He was not fired on Monday when we kind of find out about all these firings. McDaniels, he leaves with overall a winning record at 35-33, so he barely scratched that. But the team did miss the playoffs for 2 consecutive years after a hot start to his tenure. I really wish, and before I continue on this, B1 Trucker said, congratulations on the new baby, but fuck
boy.
Green Bay and bear down. We're going to be
bear down,
talking
baby.
about the Bears.
can't
We
wait.
are a Bears podcast
Bears
this season,
podcast,
so
baby.
I promise
Lil
you,
Wayne.
stay tuned in, stay locked in. We're going to be talking about it. So I wish you were here last week, Alan, because I was talking about Mike McDaniel's and you and your hypothesis that Mike McDaniel's, if he put on a winning rest of season, there was an opportunity that he would be the head coach moving into next season. And after Black Monday, it looked like that was going to happen. Unfortunately, your hypothesis came to an unfortunate ending that he did not keep his tenure as head coach for the Dolphins. And the other thing to kind of think about here is McDaniels was kind of hired specifically to try and maximize Tua. They signed Tua to this massive contract. He was inconsistent this season. And so really, I guess the front office just felt that the coaching change was really the only lever left to pull, so to speak. And it is also worth noting that there were rumors of locker room discipline issues, people missing meetings, had kind of surfaced during the end of the season. So he's out. And we'll talk as after we finish talking about McDaniels as well as Harbaugh. We're going to kind of talk about the updates as far as where some of these coaches are interviewing at and things along those lines. But were we surprised to see McDaniels fired? I know that, I'd kind of salt memed here. Alan, you would mention that you thought McDaniels would keep his job. Scotty, you were on the opposite side of that fence. Were you surprised after Black Monday came and went that he was still employed? And are we surprised by this news?
If you're directing that at me, I think Alan agrees with me that he should be fired. I think Alan's point was that they might be just dumb enough to keep him around. And ultimately, we're all on the same page. This guy has just been disappointing. And we've brought it up time and time again, but Hard Knocks came out and we got a glimpse into this locker room, and you were just left with this impression that this guy does not have command over any of these players. They don't respect him. Like, he's trying to be their friend. It's like that meme of what's his name, Buscemi, when he's like holding a skateboard and he's like, "Hey, fellow kids." Like, it's exactly, he's like, "Hey, fellow athletes." Like, he's trying to fit in, but he doesn't fit in, and he just never did. And like,
he's the size of a sixth grader.
Right. When the offense was humming and there was explosiveness, like you almost got the vibe that, okay, he's weird, but maybe it works. But it was never sustainable, and firing him was always the right move. It probably should have happened a long time ago.
Do you think this has anything to do with it? Is his Miami Vice wardrobe change to what he then became when he moved to Miami?
Yeah, I don't know what all that is. I just think he's trying to be cool. He's acting like what he thinks a cool person should act like, even though everyone's looking inward and going, "What the fuck is this doofus doing?" Like, I don't know. It's like he's just trying so hard to be something he's not. All he's got to do is be a nerdy coordinator, and he could do that really, really well, I think, in a lot of places. But being a leader of men takes a particular type of person. And listen, I couldn't do it either. So, like, I'm not throwing shade. You put me as a leader of a bunch of 6'7", 350-pound offensive linemen, they're not going to respect me either. So I get it. You're just not made for the job. That's what it is.
I think that's extremely accurate. I think the coach we're going to talk about next influenced the decisions to let him go. I think this coaching carousel is not very sexy at all because there are not a lot of great options anywhere. Nobody's very attractive at the moment, and I think they were toying with it, which is what their delay was. But as soon as Harbaugh became available, I think they were like, "Wait a second."
Well, let's talk about it, because that's Harbaugh's out, and that's an end of an 18-year era. Is the Ravens moving on from him, which is that's insane. And after 18 seasons, a Super Bowl ring, the Ravens parted ways with the winningest coach in franchise history. It was 180 and 113 was his final record with them. And it really boiled down to a missed 44-yard field goal in week 18. And if that wasn't the case, Harbaugh still might be there. It was against the Steelers. Ravens ended their season at 8-9. It was only his third losing season with the Ravens, but the ownership had kind of felt like things had grown stale, perhaps. 12 playoff appearances, 4 AFC championship titles. And to your comment earlier, Alan, I think he's instantly the number one candidate on the market right now. But if you look at the Ravens, I don't understand why. And Cog PD, I can't even say this guy's name. He said, "Go Bears." I promise you guys, we're going to be talking about the Bears. I'm so excited to talk about the Bears.
The Bears fans are out of the closet officially. They've been in the closet for 20 years, and now they're like, finally. Busted.
And we're a Bears podcast this season. And so we will, I promise you guys we're going to be talking about it. But why would the Ravens, like you had already mentioned this, Alan, this coaching carousel is not great. Like this coaching carousel, this I want to say semester, this season is not great.
This semester.
And so,
how long have we been out of school for? It's been a decade.
I know. I didn't say it. I almost did. And then I guess I did. But like, what is the alternative for the Ravens? Like, if you look at the landscape of last year was much more fruitful as far as like potential options. For you to move on from Harbaugh is like, who are you going to get that's better?
Yeah.
Like, what is your mentality towards that?
Do you think that Steelers-Ravens game was losing coach gets fired?
I was going to make this exact point.
I think that's what it was. I think they were each playing to continue on because I think the Steelers would have been like, F this. We didn't make the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
We're out. We're moving on from Tomlin. And so I literally think, as much as we made the joke that they keep giving each other wins, because I think the Steelers and Ravens, Tomlin and Harbaugh were like neck and neck with wins and losses. They just kept giving each other wins and losses to stay employed. It was very funny that the final game actually turned out that I think they were playing for each other's job.
Yeah, I really do think that they were in similar circumstances because both of these organizations, the thing is, the Ravens have had, I think, higher peaks of success in recent years. The Steelers obviously had a lot of success, a little bit further back, but both of these teams were like, they're just in a spot where they just have to make a decision because at the Ravens organization, you can make an argument, and I'm sure Slapdog, you're about to make this argument, which is maybe get rid of your quarterback instead of your head coach. You've got a very proven head coach and a quarterback that has never really proven himself in the big moments. Like you could probably make that argument.
People are going to argue though that he's a multi MVP award winning quarterback,
And I agree with that. I think Lamar Jackson is a great playmaker, but at some point in time, as an organization, you have to decide what your goals are. And for most organizations, the goals are, let's have some success, let's have some fun, let's sell some tickets. But for a few organizations that have been right on the brink of success, your goals are Super Bowl or bust. And the Ravens are at that point, and they just have not crossed that threshold. At some point, you have to say, we've got to make a change. I think the Steelers are at that point, and I think the Ravens are at that point right now.
Well, and I don't want to show my hand on the Steelers because we're going to be talking about them in Monday Night Football. So let's put a pin in the Steelers, but let's pivot over and just talk about the coaching carousel update right now. So the Ravens, as we're talking about, Harbaugh's out. The top linked candidates so far are Kevin Stefanski, Brian Flores, and Clint Kubiak. All three, as far as this coaching carousel is concerned, all three really great options, I think. To me, Kevin Stefanski is still probably like 1B, like right outside of Harbaugh as far as a head coach that is available that a lot of people are trying to seek to join their organization. But I like Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores, the interesting thing with him is, of course, he has been a head coach before. It was with the Dolphins. It didn't pan out well, and there was kind of some bad blood there. But Brian Flores, to me, is another one. I think what he's done with the Vikings defense is severely underrated. He is a defensive-minded guy, and I think he should get another shot at a head coaching vacancy. Whether that happens or not this cycle stands to be seen at this moment. But that's what the Ravens are looking like. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, Chris Shula is a candidate, as well as Clint Kubiak and Anthony Weaver are kind of the top link candidates there. The interesting thing with Shula is he is the Rams defensive coordinator and the grandson of Don Shula. And if anybody does not know who Don Shula is, he was a head coach with the Dolphins. And so there's kind of some history there. The Giants, they've got John Harbaugh, Mike McCarthy, and Vance Joseph as their three candidates. The Falcons have John Harbaugh, who they've already interviewed, and Kevin Stefanski. The Cardinals have Robert Salah, Raheem Morris, and Vance Joseph. There is one name on there that makes me sick to my stomach.
You also left off the most important potential.
Yeah, there's the biggest candidate still out there.
One that there have been headlines specifically saying that the Cardinals are interested in.
Yeah. Why is he not listed here?
Because I don't want it to come to fruition. Are we talking Arthur Smith?
No. The better. Think better. Think
way
best.
Better. Think about the guy who is single-handedly responsible for drafting and developing maybe the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Think of a beautiful mind.
Are we talking about Belichick?
No.
Have I not seen this?
Think believe.
Think better than Belichick.
Think about the other greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL and the guy responsible. I can't believe we're having to spell this out. We've been making fun of you for this for weeks.
Yeah.
Who?
It's Matt Nagy, bro.
Yeah, Matt
the
Nagy.
next head coach of the Arizona best. Cardinals.
He's Matt a genius. I'm surprised everybody hasn't hired him. He could probably coach all these teams at once. That's how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Guys, come on. Please don't do this to me.
Matt Nagy needs to go to a different team, not because Matt and I want him to, but because you do want him.
No,
I want it. The Chiefs need to keep Matt Nagy. Everything's been going just fine for the Chiefs. But he's a genius. I'm surprised the Chiefs are just holding on to him, honestly.
Matt Nagy's got so many Super Bowls. Like so many. He's overqualified to be a head coach. They should make him president of the United States.
Yeah, I'm shocked, actually.
I said this, first off, fuck you both, because I said this halfway through the season when the Chiefs were kind of sputtering, and I said, this is actually the best thing for you guys, because you're a victim of your own success, and because you guys have continued to go to the Super Bowl and continue to find this high level of eliteness, when you move on from your offensive coordinator, it doesn't look as good, right? If you go to the Super Bowl and you lose and you fire your OC, then it causes PR disarray. Because you guys didn't go there, you can now move on from Matt Nagy, and you should move on from Matt Nagy. But please, dear Lord, do not put him on me. There are 3 coaches that I would despise seeing go to the Cardinals, one of which is Matt Nagy, another one is Raheem Morris, and another one is Arthur Smith. If any of those 3 end up with the Cardinals, I might just kill myself in this office on live stream. Like, that would be the worst.
Wait, you're going to actually kill yourself?
That'd be kind of
cool.
What if
I don't
you
think we can say that. Are we going to get censored for saying that?
Oh, shoot. No, you won't. He's actually just fine.
I'll hurt myself with a hairdryer in the bathtub.
We're doing a lot of hairdryer crimes today.
What if all 3 come to your staff? What if you just get all 3?
Who would be the head coach? One's an OC, one's a DC. Raheem Morris is a defensive mind. Arthur Smith and Matt Nagy have no mind. So between the two of them,
Matt Nagy is a genius. He should legitimately be coaching all these teams at once. I think he should just take over for Reed when he retires. I think that would be, if you guys have such high faith in him, I think that would be the best case. We
can't hog him for that. Like, I already feel guilty. We've been using his genius for so long.
No,
Reed's age.
I love watching the domination that he's put on the field year over year for the Chiefs. It's great.
No, Andy Reid's not going anywhere. His age and cholesterol are really low, so he's going to be around for a while.
One of those is actually, both are not true. The Cleveland Browns are looking at Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz, and the Raiders are looking at Mike McCarthy and Cliff Kingsbury. I want to ask you guys, there's 7 vacancies right now. What has got to be the most appealing for you guys as far as if you were a head coach and you were looking for a potential head coach looking for a home? Which one of these places would you want to go to? Because there's a couple different, mentalities you could have towards this, that some of these are better landings, obviously better landing spots than others, but where would you guys want to go if you were head coaches? You had to pick one team, one
for
organization.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. It sounds crazy to say the Giants, but
I don't think it does.
That's where my brain goes, is like, I think the Giants are sneaky attractive for many reasons. Like, as long as Dart can stop using his brain as a dart on other players, like, that would be nice. But other than that, I think, okay, logically, Giants, if I'm trying to retire soon, Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
No income tax.
Well, there are kind of 2 schools of thought here, because, you can look at which team is the best chance to have a really successful long career, or you can say which team is so far in the fucking dumpster that there's no way I'm worse than what they've already had, and you'll be a hero no matter what. When I took my current position and my job, the guy who was in the position before me got fired because he stole a bunch of shit, and then they sued him and he's in prison. So, like, all I got to do is not bankrupt the company, and I'm way better than the previous guy, and everybody loves me. You can take that with head coaching. You can go to the Browns and just, like, you have a little bit more success, and everyone's like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. So, like, maybe.
I don't even know if that's, like, the Browns. If you're going to go in with that mentality, I wouldn't even say the Browns. Like, because the Browns have found certain levels of success with Kevin Stefanski, and it's not like you can put air quotes there, because Stefanski has not done a ton, but he's had some usable, like, seasons. And I think that's what makes Stefanski interesting as a head coach, is I think the organization in general has just been in the dumps, and it's poorly ran.
But that's the problem with the Browns. And you could probably say the same about the Giants, but, having Jackson Dart, having some of the young talent there that has actually looked exciting changes people's minds. Whereas the Browns, obviously the defense has always been great. The Browns have had some flashes, but you just know that no matter who you are, when you go to the Browns, like they're going to steal your soul and curb stomp you to death. Like that, just the organization is going to do that to everyone, because I think Stefanski's a really good coach. Obviously, everybody else does too, because everybody wants to hire Stefanski. It's just the Browns. Like that's just the way it is. I tend to think, along the lines with Allen, I think if you're looking for the best long-term spot with the most optimism right now is probably the Giants, which is a crazy thing to say. But objectively, I think it's true.
That's what I would choose as well. And it's kind of interesting that the Ravens, like we're not saying the Ravens, like you have Lamar Jackson, you have a multi-MVP winning quarterback there. And I would rather go to the Giants because I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. And I've been very vocal about that on this show.
Listen, if Pete Carroll could have hung on for one more year, then he would want to go to the Ravens, because the Ravens are the best chance to win something right now. Like the Ravens have the best chance to do that. And if you're 100 years old and trying to do something before you die, then the Ravens are a good place to go.
I don't even
Beaner Wiener 2470 says bang bang Niner gang CMC's the GOAT. We're going to be talking about those games here in just a moment. We just got to wrap up this coaching conversation. I think the Raiders are another one that's interesting just because you get to go in and choose your guy of the future, right? You have the 101, you know you're going to draft a quarterback, and so
I got a point to make. I don't know that they're going to draft a quarterback. I think
you don't think they go Mendoza?
I think they do. Here's the thing. They probably do. Yes, I agree. I don't know if that's the right call, because that team is so atrocious that drafting a quarterback might just ruin the quarterback's career. I think that there is an actual conversation going on in that front office of people saying, hey, we need to figure out all these ancillary pieces before we invest in the guy. And I don't think they're under any illusions that they're going to be that far off the first pick, next year. So I think there's a real chance. Mendoza obviously seems great, and maybe he's a perfect fit. Maybe it's my own bias. He does not seem like a quarterback for the Raiders to me. Like the mentality seems different. It just doesn't seem like he's going to be a good fit with the organization.
Hang on. Let me present you.
Picture Kirk Cousins in a Raiders.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, hang on though. His last name's Mendoza.
That's true. That's the only point in his favor.
What
that
do
he's
you
a good
know
quarterback.
About the Raiders fan base, being as Hispanic as I am? They are very Hispanic Raiders driven. That is like the coming of Christ if the Hispanic Hispanic fan base of the Raiders gets Mendoza. Can you imagine the jersey sales?
I agree with that, but I think you're looking at surface level, because yes, his last name's Mendoza, but also if I went to Las Vegas and was in the Raiders stadium, I would expect to see 7 or 8 fistfights, maybe 4 divorces, that sort of thing's just happening in the Raiders crowd. And Mendoza he does not fit in with those people.
No, I agree with the mentality. Usually you see people who probably carry a shiv in their their cleats, like the players themselves. It's kind of
they're hardcore. They're badasses. And Mendoza's he's like Kirk Cousins. It just doesn't mesh.
Beaner Wiener 2470 says he ain't lying. Beaners love the Raiders.
Can we still put this? Yeah, I don't think you can throw racial slurs on YouTube. It's a good thing we have Allen here.
I'll allow it.
And his name is Beaner Wiener, so I think we're okay.
Hey, Beaner Wiener is good people.
I did ask my wife is Mexican, and I have asked her which racial slurs she finds offensive, and she thinks they're all pretty funny. So
they're all hilarious.
Yeah. To go back to Scotty's point, the only other thing that I could see within a potential realm of possibility, and I still think this is a far-fetched idea, but you can go get Kyler Murray. You could go get Kyler Murray as your quarterback and then sell the first pick and try and
Are you
rebuild
doing
in
the
other
same
places.
thing that we just did with Matt Nagy?
Yeah.
No, I'm being genuine that there is, and that's the interesting thing with the Cardinals is whoever the head coach is pretty much gets to determine if they want to have Kyler Murray or not, because I think the organization in general is pretty much good with moving on from him. And if the head coach wants him, they will, they can keep him and use him. So I think there is, in the range of outcomes, I don't think it's a high one, but there is a potential opportunity that Kyler Murray is off the Cardinals and on a different organization next year. And this guy is a Mexican. Beaner Wiener 2470 is Hispanic.
Hey, he's good.
So
he's good.
He's good. He's in the clear. He's allowed to say that.
I'm more worried about what you're allowed to say.
I was simply reading.
Did he get a pass? Did you get a pass?
Yeah,
God, I hope
we're gonna
I
need
don't wanna
that
get
guy
canceled.
to message back.
Okay,
and
so
give
hold
him
on.
a
What do
pass.
they need Kyler Murray for? Do they need a step stool so they can get up to the podium for their first pick, or what are they using
that's a good
Kyler?
question.
What are they going to use him for?
I'm just saying, Kyler Murray. I'm not. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I'm ready to move on from him. I'm fine with him. And Bino Wiener did give me a pass, by the way. So I just for any.
Did you put that on the screen?
Lit.
Pretty convenient.
We need to do this
pass.
for. Okay.
He gave me a pass.
YouTube's off our
So
backs.
yeah, we're good now. They said he's okay.
That's hilarious.
I'm just saying there are organizations that might have interest, and I'm not saying it's the right move for him. I'm not saying it's a good move for him, but there is a chance that Kyler Murray is on a different team next season. So if we're going to sit here and say they're not going to, like, I think that's crazy that the Raiders wouldn't draft Mendoza to begin with. But if we're talking about crazy stuff, like, let's keep that train rolling. Like, there is an opportunity that is a possibility that could happen. So, all right, let's go to wild card weekend. Is there anything else in the coaching carousel we want to touch on?
Nah.
No, let's talk football.
Let's get to the juice.
Let's talk football. Let's get to the juice. Guys, gentlemen, this was a historic weekend with 3 record games decided by a touchdown in the final 2 minutes. I was absolutely in love with this entire weekend, and it was football all weekend. And I was just like, I was a kid in a candy shop. It was incredible. So we'll start with the Rams. The survival. Rams won this game 34-31. And this was kind of the old guard versus the new kid, if you want to look at it that way. Matthew Stafford had to go on a 71-yard drive in under 2 minutes to avoid a massive upset. And after the Panthers took a 31-27 lead with 2 minutes and 39 seconds left, Stafford went 6 of 7 on his final drive, capped with a 19-yard touchdown to Colby Parkinson with 38 seconds left. So really what I want to talk about in this game is Bryce Young, because despite the loss, Young was, dare I say, elite in this game. I mean, he went 264 passing touchdown and a 16-yard rushing touchdown. So, you know, I know we've been vocal on the show about Bryce Young in the past and his future with the Panthers, and we've kind of all been in the same position of, like, he's probably not their guy of the future, is kind of what we've said previously. All signs are currently pointing towards the Panthers executing his 5th-year option. Do you think that they should? And if they do, instead of signing him to a long-term deal, does that almost show their hand as far as what they think about Bryce Young and their uncertainty of him in the future? Because they could lock him into a long-term contract as early as the season, or they could execute that 5th-year option. So do you think they should? Like, where are we drawing the line out in the sand with Bryce Young currently?
What do you... Alan's leaning back like he wants me to take this.
I don't want to talk about it.
No,
I had to burp.
Yeah, I feel the same way the organization seems to, which is like, you know, he's okay. Like, he's better than being in a position where you don't have anybody and you're, like, frantically searching, but he's not, I don't think, your guy for the long term. And I think they realize that to some degree. So I think the 5th-year option is just, like, sort of passing the move back to the rest of the league and saying, hey, we'll keep you for 1 more year and we'll just see how things play out and see if we find a better option in the long term. But I don't think they want to make a decision either way, and I don't really blame him, because his biggest problem has been inconsistency. I mean, we've seen flashes where he looks really, really good. Obviously, I think the physical size, which was the main criticism of him coming out of college, which is just like, it's tough to play quarterback in the NFL when you're that size. And we've seen that, I think, have, you know, caused some problems for him. And I think part of his inconsistency is that it's difficult. It's difficult when you're short and you can't see over your line and you're trying to figure everything out. It's just tough. And I think he's done well sometimes and not well other times. I don't blame him. I think maybe a 5th-year option is a good move. And ultimately, it's all a market decision. I mean, if there's another team who wants to sign him to a long-term deal and do all this stuff, like, and there's pressure in that way, like, maybe they'll feel pressure to do that. But ultimately, I think everybody in the NFL is on the same space, and they're just like, you know, we got a guy who works pretty well. We got to the playoffs. Let's just keep him around.
Yeah, I think, okay, a few things. I think the Panthers are kind of hosed because they almost won this game. I think they're also hosed because they made it with Bryce Young. I think they have to see this thing through now. I think their hands are kind of tied because I don't think any team is actually clamoring for Bryce Young. Like, I don't think they are needing anything in that capacity, right? Like, I don't think anybody's knocking down Carolina's door to say we need him. But the other thing is this game, yes, you can look at the score. Yes, you can look at it. But the Rams literally made every mistake they could in this game to try to keep the Panthers in it. I remember even listening to the call, they were like, we're actually surprised it's as close as it is because the Rams are dominating.
They were 10.5 point favorites.
And they were they were up. What was it, 17-7? And they were like, looked like they were getting ready to cruise. And then they just made like every mistake possible. I actually think this was a good game for the Rams to start off with, to know that they can't coast. Like, they got to play every snap, because now I think that just kind of like refocused them, and they had to play with that grit towards the end. And I think, yes, Bryce Young's okay. I don't think he's the answer. I thought he played well enough. He played well enough to win that game, but that was one game, and they made it into the playoffs. Yes, I still don't think he's the answer. I think the Panthers are kind of hosed, though, because I think they're going to have to roll with him. They don't have another choice.
Well, and I that's why I kind of like the idea of this, like, just execute his 5th-year option. And typically, like, I don't like that move for organizations. Like, I think it's cheap. I think it causes you to have to pay more money later. And that's part of the problem. Like with Patrick Mahomes, like he signed a 10-year deal or something, and they paid him an exorbitant amount of money at the time. And you look at the contract now, and it's like, okay, this is actually really favorable for the Chiefs as far as like quarterback contracts are concerned, because now he's not even paid as a top 10 quarterback, because the market only goes up. So when you know that you have your guy, like a Jaden Daniels, I think is a good example, is the Commanders clearly believe in him. Obviously, he's had some injury concerns this season, but if he's able to stay healthy and play at a high level, like there's no reason not to sign him to a long-term contract versus executing that 5th-year option. I think in the Panthers situation, you don't sign him to, and even if you have to pay more money later, because you don't know. And that's part of the problem that you're in right now. So you execute that 5th-year option, and now he's kind of on a prove-it deal, where it's like, you have to prove to us that you are a franchise quarterback. And I think that 5th-year option really actually behooves the Panthers in this situation. It is also worth noting, the Panthers, I mean, this was the first year that they went and actually got some offensive talent for Young to work with Teteroa McMillan. And he's looked really great. He's been a focal point for this offense because they haven't had pass catchers. And so that's kind of unlocked a little bit of game for Bryce Young too. So going into next season, I think if I was the Panthers, you execute that 5th-year option and you say, prove to us that you're worth keeping around. And I think that's kind of the mentality that they're probably aiming for, is how I read this. So inversely, the Rams, as I mentioned, they were 10.5-point favorites before this game started, and they nearly choked us away on a blocked punt. Do you guys think that they're kind of battle tested for the next round, or should we be worried about both their special teams and defense? Like, I had the Rams going to the Super Bowl. I'm still not wavering from that, but if I'm watching this game, I'm like, man, like this was not what I expected from the Rams.
No, see, Stafford still threw for over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. They just, like I said, they made every mistake they could make after they took that 17-7 lead and just kept Carolina in it. When you're on the road, you're playing a Saturday game, it's a little overcast, you're on the road. Carolina's never been in this position before. They were playing with house money. They felt like there was no pressure on Carolina. All the pressure was on the Rams to go in there and perform. Like Carolina, this is a win for them, being as close as it was. Like, oh man, look at that. We almost got the Rams. Like, that's who you were playing with in the first round. And so I think it's fine. You just want to win and move on. Like, there is no style points for this. You just want to get that W and march on to the next one. I still think the Rams are the team to beat. You had, like I said, a lot of things went wrong. You had Puka drop a sure touchdown where he wasn't really looking. That would have been, there were so many points in this game where the Rams could have been up by so much more, and they could have had a strangle. They just didn't do it. Do I think they can do it in the future? Yes. Like, they can't have those mistakes moving forward, but I still think they are the team to beat in the NFC. I don't waver on that at all.
100%. And that's the thing with this whole year. I mean, it's been a while since I've been on the show, but this is like, if you were to characterize this year, it's that every team just kind of sucks. Like, there is no team that is just a powerhouse. Every team has fatal flaws and like these massive issues. But because every team has it, you can look at someone like the Rams and say, this is the best team in the NFL, in my opinion. At this point in time, it's the best team. They're the team to beat. They should win the Super Bowl. But this is a year when one ball bounces the wrong way. I mean, we'll talk about the Bears game, but we saw the Bears almost get 3 different turnovers, and none of them bounced their way. And if they lost the game, we would have pointed to those turnovers and said, if any one of those goes their way, the game's different. And it's just that way this year in the NFL, where everything's just so strange and like weird stuff is happening and nobody's really dominant. So yes, the Rams are the best team in the NFL. No, they shouldn't be worried about this. They're going to have to win games like this through the rest of the playoffs in order to make it to the Super Bowl. It's just going to have to happen.
Well, and I'm glad that you kind of, you had stated, like, this season feels weird. It really does, because there's no dominant teams, and we've been saying that since like midway through the season. And I was talking with my mother, and she said, "Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl?" And she asked me this like midway through the season. I said, "I think it's the Rams," and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think the Rams are one of the most complete teams in the NFL, but I don't think there is a complete team in the NFL this year, and it certainly showed, and it's made weekends like this really fun, where it's come down to the wire for every one of these games." And I mean, we have said we are a Bears podcast, gentlemen. Like we came in preseason, we said, okay, who's our team this year? It's the Bears, and god damn it, did we do it. Bear down, baby.
We did it.
We did it.
Lifers. We're lifers.
Yes. MacLedoux 5249 said kickers have decided games, and that is very true. I mean, kickers also like there have been
missed extra points have we had.
It's crazy.
It is wild.
And you have kickers who have been phenomenal for their entire careers that just forget how to play the game this season. Like, it's so weird.
Really quick before we get into the Bears, before we bear down, in another text thread we were discussing kickers should be able to call their shots and it be worth like a point anyways. So like if you say I'm going to hit the left upright, or you say like 3 points, I get the right upright, and call their shots, and they should get all those points.
Yeah,
or it's 0. Like that would be sick, because how many times they hit the uprights? There's no way they were aiming.
Or
but I think it'd be sick
bust out
if they
like
were.
Like at halftime they have like the kid in the wheelchair throw balls into the Dr. Pepper can. Like they just bust out the Dr. Pepper cans for the kickers. Like it's like a Make-A-Wish thing for all the kickers in the NFL. Like if you make this, it's worth triple the points.
Yeah, it'd be sick. That'd be sick.
Yeah, you know how pissed I'd be though if I was like rooting for the opposing team and some kicker came out on like their own 20 and just kicked it into a Dr. Pepper can for 20 points. I'd be fucking I'd be like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, no, the whole season has just been so strange, but this Bears game was so much fun. Before we get into this, I want to say one thing, because I just feel like it's really important to talk about this. As unpredictable as the NFL's been, my niece texted me on Friday last week and said that she's 16, one of her classes, they were filling out brackets for the NFL playoffs and they were having a competition. So she texted me and said, "Hey, what do you think?" I filled out that whole bracket for her, and so far I am perfect. So I got the perfect bracket.
Should have put money on it.
Well,
whatever she wins, there needs to be an
But here's the disappointing thing. Here's what happened, because every game that happened, I was like, all right, I got that one right, got that one right, got that one right. I saw her on Sunday night, and I said, "Hey, congrats on the perfect bracket so far. This is going really, really well." And she goes, yeah. It turns out she just unilaterally decided to disagree with me on a couple of them because of peer pressure. So now it's not perfect anymore. And I think there's a lesson there. Old heads, no ball. These 16-year-old kids are fucking up in there.
Love it.
Oh my God! All right, let's. I'm happy that your bracket's right so far, even though
it's not a real bracket. Nobody wrote it down. I have it in a text message. That counts.
Count it, gentlemen. Bear down, baby. We win 31-27 against the Packers. This was the game I was most excited for. There's so much history here. Obviously, everybody knows about the Bears-Packers rivalry. But was this Caleb Williams freaking coming out party? And I'm not talking about the other coming out. I'm talking about
that was
coming out.
Oh, okay. Can't do that.
Yeah. Chicago was trailing 21-3 at halftime. We can't do that. I got.
We've already dropped a racial slur. We pretty much just ripped the Band-Aid off. We can do whatever we want the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I already said I'm not responsible for it because I'm sleep deprived. So we can do literally anything. We have a pass.
I was simply reading the prompter that was put on here.
You wrote the prompt.
No, not the prompt that had the racial slur in there. That was written by. No, I didn't fully vet
Ron
it. I clicked it
yourself.
No.
He wrote it. That's so funny.
No. Caleb Williams hit DJ Moore for a 25-yard touchdown with 1:43 left. And, we were talking about kickers earlier. This was really the meltdown for the Packers. Brandon McManus missed 2 field goals and an extra point, meaning 7 points in total, which would have won the Packers the game. So, gentlemen, I mean, I just got to ask, and this might sound crazy, but should Matt LaFleur be on the hot seat? And this has kind of been something that's been floated around in NFL circles is, he's only got 1 year left on his deal, and it is rumored that the Packers are working on an extension. Are you guys of the belief that Matt LaFleur should be on the hot seat, or should he stay home with the Packers?
Listen, I want to have this conversation, but it feels wrong that we're celebrating the Bears win by talking about the Packers. I think maybe we should talk about the Bears and how kick-ass Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Here's this Bears team just did not know how to play football for the first 2 quarters. Like, it was the worst I've seen the Bears look all season. And then they just decide to turn around and come back and say, fuck it, we're just going to go ahead and win. And of all the shit I talk about Caleb Williams, because it's very fun. I'm Bears podcast. I support the Bears. But it's fun to talk shit on Caleb Williams with his painted nails and purses and stuff. There's one thing that you have to say about this guy, which is he has the killer instinct. He does not let the pressure fuck him up. And that's hard to find in a professional athlete. It's so easy to, the pressure gets in your head or whatever. Our family does a ping pong tournament, and if I'm in the championship game, I fall apart. I can't deal with the pressure. Caleb Williams does it on national TV in the NFL. The guy's amazing. I'm all bought in. It's kick-ass. I don't have to paint my nails because he didn't get to 4,000 yards.
You didn't. He was close.
It was like 60 yards off.
60 yards
so
short.
close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
When
that's
you
fine.
declared that, I was instantly like, I don't think he's going to do it, but if he does, it's going to be incredible.
It was close.
of the
Maybe next
3
year.
what's crazy about this series of Packers Bears this season is the first half of all these games very much look like the Packers are just going to run away with it. And then inexplicably, they forget how to play in the second half in overtime, and then the Bears come back and win every time. This season, the Packers have allowed the Bears to score 6 points in the first half.
Would you say that's
overtime,
a testament to Ben Johnson's coaching?
Could be, but in the second half, it's almost 70 points they've given up to the
Scotty's
Bears
making a face.
in the second half. I think Ben Johnson is a big piece of this, but I also think it's somehow the Packers like not doing enough self-scouting and just sticking with what's working. Like they fall apart. I think they panic. They do something. Something happens in there where it's awful because Ben Johnson was doing everything to coach himself out of this game. I think it's like somebody told Ben Johnson before the game he could go for it on 4th down. He's like, what? No shit. We can do that. He's like, let's just do that. And then that's how it looked like the whole game was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Ben Johnson looked like he was, in the first half, it looked like he was just desperate. Like, that's the word we were texting. That's the word I would use to describe the Bears. They looked desperate. They looked like they thought they didn't belong there. They were doing stupid things, like nothing was executing properly. But to bring this full circle to what you started this conversation with LaFleur, if there's one negative thing that you define LaFleur's career, it's he doesn't know how to keep a lead. Like his team can get leads and then they just fall apart. And you can characterize his career like that. That's just kind of the way his career goes. So nothing, the Bears, obviously this is a spectacular comeback, but it's true that Matt LaFleur is kind of known for this, collapse.
Beaner Wiener says it's Bears all day. Kyron has only gone for 100 yards once this season. Stop Stafford, and it's the Bears in the NFC. Also, Scotty, great fucking stash, brother.
Thanks, Beaner Wiener. I knew I could count on you.
I'm going to get Beaner Wiener tattooed on me.
Yeah, I think we all should. Why aren't you 3 bums glazing Drake May for the whole stream? Well, we haven't gotten to that game yet.
Oh,
yeah,
he's not going to like
there,
what I got to
me.
say about Drake May.
Oh, you don't like Drake May?
No, that's not what I said. But he's not going to like what I'm going to say.
All right, well, let's finish the Bears conversation. There's something that you said as far as Caleb Williams is concerned, and like I thought it was kind of cocky when he said it, but I also think it's somewhat true. Is like he's like, there's not a throw that I can't make, and it did come off cocky. It came off arrogant, but I think it's kind of true. Like Caleb Williams can throw, so he misses like the check downs, which are really weird. And I'm like, how do you miss that? But you can make like a 70-yard dot down the field on like a very thin margin of error.
Caleb Williams is the exact combination of Patrick Mahomes and Jameis Winston. It's like 50% of the time, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get out of this guy's arm. Like, he's going to throw it, and it's going to be off by 40 feet. Like, you just have no idea. And then the other, when he made that throw in the second half, and 4th down, when both of his feet were off the ground, and it was a freaking dot to Odunze, that might be the throw of the year. Like, that was a phenomenal pass. There aren't very many people who could do that. So, like, he's got both ends of the spectrum in him. It's very weird. Very exciting. It's weird.
It is. It is. I am so excited. I'm happy for the Bears. And really, like, for me, this was the Bears Super Bowl. Like, I don't think the Bears are going to go to the Super Bowl. I think they'll probably get knocked out next round. I'm so sorry to say, Beaner Wiener.
What did you just say?
Listen, I think it's just in the range of outcomes. That's what I've got going. But this was my Super Bowl for the Bears. Like, you beat the Packers in the playoffs. There is no better freaking. I was elated. Like, I was tuned into this game, and I was hype at the very end. And did you see the in the locker room, like that locker room afterward? God, I would love to be a fly on a wall in there. Like Ben Johnson's everyone's going crazy. Like it was so freaking awesome.
What do you guys think about the handshake, not handshake?
I liked it. I liked it. He just walked over and he's like, "Yep, see it." And
Does Ben Johnson forget he's gonna have to play them again next year?
I am not worried about that. I do. It's really tough because part of me is like, hell yeah, fucking just get it. I hate each other. I want them to hate each other. But the other part of me is like, okay, we're all adults here. Like the game's over, the season's over. You could shake his hand like a man.
No, because when Ben Johnson became the head coach for the Bears in his opening presser, he had a little shit-eating grin on his face, and he goes, I kind of liked beating the Packers twice a year. And then Matt LaFleur was asked about it, and he goes, I don't even know who Ben Johnson is, was basically what he said. You know who Ben Johnson is now. And so that was like the ultimate middle finger from Ben Johnson to be like, yep, you fucking remember me. And he just kept running.
Here's the thing. I agree with all that. Talk shit, do your press conferences, but when the game's over, you could shake each other's hands. When the game's over.
He did.
Okay. Okay.
How long do you want him to shake it? Like a journal? How long has he got to shake it?
You want him to stare in each other's eyes and yearn for each other?
To not be actively sprinting during the handshake. That's the standard. You can't be sprinting during the handshake. It's got to be a real handshake.
It was his first playoff win as a head coach over his rival. I don't know.
You think he's just new to handshakes?
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. He just kind of panicked. He just panicked.
Maybe.
I liked it. I was as a pro Bears podcast, I saw that and was like, hell yeah, that's our coach. That's our coach. I was
super horny about it.
Okay.
Well,
cool. Good to know.
One open-eyed hand job, according to B.
Oh, an OTPHJ.
Oh, over the pants even. Midfield.
Well, you don't, there's not enough time to take it out of the pants. You got to work with it.
Well, there's not even enough time to stop for a handshake, so you just got to touch and go. All right, we're going to talk about Drake May. Let's do it. Hey, the people want it. Let's give it to him. This game sucked. Out of all the games this weekend, this game was the worst, man.
I was ready for bed.
Yeah, Patriots win this game 16-3. What a freaking snoozer! And you know the Chargers were 0-1 on 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. Didn't get it done. I mean, Drake May, he did outplay Justin Herbert. He rushed for 66 yards and throwing a fourth quarter touchdown to Hunter Henry. But Jesus H. Christ, was this game, out of all the games this weekend, this was easily the worst one. Like I was.
That's true. It's true, but as a Chiefs fan, I really enjoyed watching Justin Herbert get his shit kicked in for 4 straight
He got
quarters.
rocked multiple times.
I almost felt bad for him by the end of it.
I was watching this game with a friend, and he was like, it almost seems like Justin Herbert is like seeking like pain and misery and like seeking getting destroyed.
He's
masochism in LA. We could write a book.
He's trying to off himself. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
Maybe.
It's like Jim Harbaugh won't let me leave. I got to find my own way out.
I got to die to leave.
Death by linebacker.
Yeah,
he did get his shit rocked multiple times. And he is missing, 2 offensive linemen, I think? Like 2 starters?
They've been missing guys all year. Honestly, I say I feel bad for him. Obviously, he's a millionaire and he's banging Madison Beer, so life could be worse. But it's just, like, watching that, he's not having any fun. I don't know if he's had, it feels like Andrew Luck, but without the success. It's like Andrew Luck, but if Andrew Luck's team never won ever. Yeah. Never won ever. So it's just like, I don't know. I do feel a little bit bad for Justin Herbert, but it felt pretty good watching this team that beat us twice this season get fucking curb stomped.
While we're talking about the Chargers, there's been a lot of conversation about Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh's, him and Greg Roman are very good friends. Should Greg Roman be fired? Like, should he, as the OC, like, I see a lot of people kind of coming out of the woodwork saying that they need to move on from Roman. This offense did not look great. What do you guys think?
I think, obviously, the offense didn't look great. It's tough to have a complete offense when you lose half of your offensive linemen. As a Chiefs fan, I know that problem very well. Like, it's just difficult to be competent when you're missing all of your guys. But at some point, the Chiefs at least can look back and say, well, they've had offensive success in the past. The Chargers, just with Justin Herbert, haven't ever really had offensive success.
Do you think it's Herbert or do you think it's coach?
Well, that's the thing is, there's coaching, there's lack of weapons, everybody's injured, the line's injured, like the excuses stack up, but eventually you have to say it's the same thing like with John Harbaugh. Eventually the excuses run out and you just got to make a tough decision. And I think that we're approaching that point with Justin Herbert as fans. I don't know what his contract is, but as fans, it's almost like, I don't know. It's dangerous because the last time we said this, it was about Trevor Lawrence, and he proceeded to win 8 games in a row and go to the playoffs. So maybe he just needs us. Maybe he just needs us to talk shit about him, and Justin Herbert will be amazing. But it's just like eventually you have to find success. You have to.
Well, in the argument, and there was over on X, we put out a lot of graphics about different quarterbacks and situations after all these playoff games. And a lot of people were talking so much shit on Justin Herbert, and they're like, he's fucking terrible. He's not a top 10 quarterback, and all these other excuses. And by the way, he's signed with them until 2028, and then they have a potential out at that point, as far as Justin Herbert. I mean, is he? Because, like, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, and I don't want to go on my tangent just yet about Trevor Lawrence, but when you watch Justin Herbert play, let's talk about the eye test. Like, Herbert passes the eye test as far as his ability, right? In my mind, that's how I look at Justin Herbert. Is I think he is a very talented quarterback, and he's just kind of been at the raw end, the short end of the stick as far as how things have played out. But at some point, you have to stop making excuses for this guy and say maybe it's him. Is it him in your mind? Is it just the coaching carousel that has come through with the Chargers and the lack of talent? Like, where do you draw the line in the sand for Justin Herbert? Because so many people are saying he's not good. I think the talent's there, but it just has never come to fruition for this Chargers organization.
Well, here's how I would define Justin Herbert. If you swapped him and Joe Burrow, I think we would consider Justin Herbert to be a top 5 quarterback.
You think so?
I see them as very similar.
Better than Joe Burrow.
I think they have a very similar skill set. I think obviously we know Joe Burrow is icy. He performs in the big moments, and Justin Herbert just hasn't had enough big moments to say that. But it's also true that I think Joe Burrow, like all fans universally consider Joe Burrow this amazing quarterback, but he's had top tier talent around him since his first snap in college. Like, this guy has never had to prove it in a situation like Justin Herbert's been in. So my point is just saying that the talent can be there. The situation still has to come together. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you have to find success or you're gone. Like, this is a results-driven league, and whether it's your fault or your offensive line or lack of weapons or coaching, whatever it might be, at some point you got to have success or you're gone. And we're approaching that point with Justin Herbert.
Oh my gosh. Lopez said Jesus loves you and died on the cross to heal you from your sins. He is our Savior.
Brother.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
We said a prayer and a racial slur in the same episode.
Yeah, we're covering all bases at the moment. We need something
very
else.
Multifaceted.
Yeah, we got something for everybody on this show. You just kind of tune in and just take what you want and leave it. I am quite surprised at how much we give Herbert a pass as, like, just in general as fans, because any other quarterback we'd be like, oh, this guy can't win. Oh, this guy can't win. I don't care. He can't win. He's never won a playoff game. He can't do it in the big moments. He's never won a playoff game.
Do you think it's because he's just quiet and likable? Like, he's just like,
I think that's what it is, because I don't think he says very much. I think he just kind of goes about his business. He obviously plays very hard. I mean, you could make some arguments for him for his circumstances, but you could do that the same for every other quarterback. Like, I don't
upstate. That pass is over. It's done.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't give that to him. I've been on this wagon for a long time. Out of his first 2 seasons, he's yet to pass for over 30 touchdowns in a season. Like, and that was 5 years ago. Like, I don't know what more. That's different coaches. That's different systems. Now he's with Harbaugh. Now he's with Roman. So he's been in a lot of different systems. He's had talent around him at certain times. Yeah, this year he didn't, or he had less than, but I would say McConkey and Keenan Allen are serviceable enough to get a passing game off the ground. Like, they had a decent running game for most of the season, even if that line isn't working. So at some point, you kind of are what you are. The results are the results. This is a results-based business, and Justin Herbert is going into year 8, and he is still yet to win a playoff game. And I think it's irresponsible if you put him in any top quarterback discussions because he hasn't had to do it. And you could play the hypothetical if you swap him out with Burrow, but Burrow's at least done it once, and even that's in the rearview mirror, is him going to the Super Bowl. That's years and years ago now. So it's like, I don't know, apples to apples. Like, Herbert's not getting any younger. The offense probably isn't going to change with Harbaugh that much. And I think at this point, he just kind of is what he is. He's a good quarterback. He can throw a pretty ball every now and again, but is he going to win you is he going to win you the big games? I just don't think so.
Oh,
I just don't think so.
Oh man. Upstate
Jay Cutler won playoff games.
Jay Cutler was better. And if you're using that as a barometer, then that's fine. Like,
but that's all of football is. All of football comes down to the playoffs. Everything during the regular season does not fucking matter. It comes down to the playoffs. Can you win in the playoffs? Can you put it together in the playoffs? Can you win in the playoffs? That's literally it.
I know, and that's true, but we can pivot this over to the Patriots conversation right now by saying this. The Chargers were not a playoff team. They weren't a playoff team. And they haven't been a playoff team for a long time. So you can use it as a barometer saying that, hey, he's never won a playoff game. He's never been on a playoff team. Like, yeah, they've snuck into the playoffs, but this has never been a team that's competing at that level. And you can blame it on Justin Herbert or something else. At the end of the day, the situation has to be pretty good for you to find a lot of success in the NFL. These are the best athletes in the world. And he's just never had the perfect formula. I mean, for whatever reason.
Well, and we I was talking with this friend when he was talking about Justin Herbert just getting the shit kicked out of him. And yeah, I think the pass is done. The pass is done for me. Like I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, it is what it is. He is who he is. But this is crazy. This is crazy. Slapdog coming out. Matt Stafford's not getting any younger. What if once Matt Stafford retires, instead of trying to hit on the draft, you just go get an aging Justin Herbert who's not finding success and the organization wants to re-roll and start fresh? You pair him up with Sean McVay. That's where I could see some success for Justin Herbert coming in. And I'm just throwing it out. He
doesn't have to travel very far. He just
he just goes to the same stadium. He just changes locker rooms.
I'm just gonna go to this locker room now, I guess. I think that makes sense. I do agree with you. I think if he had a quarterback, because as good as Harbaugh is, he was never focused on developing quarterbacks. Like that was never his thing. His thing is the lines, the running game, the like having a stingy defense, like being very gritty. Like it was never about developing a quarterback. I could hear that, and I would agree with you because I do think the tools are there. You know, you just wonder how much he has in the tank. Like I said, like this, he's not getting any younger. So if you're going to do something, you'd probably do it now. And if you are looking for a quarterback, I just don't know if the Chargers could get any better because he is kind of the face of their organization, for better or worse. Like it kind of is. Like I don't think they can part with him either.
Well, and that's another barometer to how you feel about Justin Herbert. Like there aren't very many quarterbacks that you could replace him with that you think would make the team better. I mean, I can't name very many off the top of my head. So it's like, yeah, you know, he hasn't had success. I don't know that we should consider him top 10 or whatever, but it's like, okay, if you plug and play another quarterback like a Baker Mayfield in that situation, are they better or are they not better? I don't think they're better.
Well, let's talk about Drake May, Scotty. You said, you know, we were asked earlier why us three bums aren't glazing Drake May.
I'm about to.
So before, I guess we have a question coming in. Let me ask you guys this. Let's say the Chargers go out and get A.J. Brown this offseason. Does that make them a playoff team? I think that's an interesting one. And we were going to talk about the Eagles and A.J. Brown was going to be a topic of conversation. So you're kind of you're jumping the gun just a little bit. But I don't know. I mean,
if the Chargers get that offensive line healthy and they add like an A.J. Brown, yeah, I would say. I think if their offensive line was healthy, I think they would have been okay. But I also agree. Yeah, that's also how much of a headache
Are they fighting in our comments right now? What's going on here?
I think so. Beaner Wiener says AJ is trash and a cancer. Both of which, once again, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
I think there is a path for the Chargers to get there, to be that team. I mean, I think they started off the season really good. If you remember, if you go back in the Wayback Machine, that first 4 weeks, they were like, wow, is this the best team in the AFC? Are we looking at the best team? And I think a lot of people felt that way until they got hit with the injury bug. So I think it's there. I think they can shore that up. But
I think I think it gets much more interesting if AJ Brown's on that team. I do, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of AJ Brown, but from a talent level, like AJ Brown is clearly above the likes of Ladd McConkey and an aged Keenan Allen. So yes, I think that it's certainly much more interesting, and it opens up the ability to run the ball, which Harbaugh wants to do.
I think you could have a Pickens situation if AJ Brown goes to a team like that, where George Pickens kind of like, oh crap, he's actually like. I thought the same about Pickens until he went to the Cowboys and like, wait, that might be a legit number one.
Yeah. So all right, Drake May, Scotty, you have some thoughts on Drake May?
Yeah, and it's really no disrespect to this Patriots team or Drake May. Drake May has played phenomenally all year. I don't know if we're going to have an MVP conversation before that award gets announced, but he's definitely right up there, one or two in that race, depending on who you are. I still think that, and this is, I'm not breaking any news here, but the big criticism of the Patriots has been their schedule all season long. Their schedule has been historically easy. And yes, they don't control that. Yes, you still have to win the games. Like, all that is true. Like, you can't take anything away from them for doing what they've done, because they've proven that they belong in this conversation. They are a Super Bowl contender. I still think, though, that there is quite a bit unknown about this team because they just haven't really been tested, and that goes into the playoffs. Like I said, the Chargers, at the state that they were in, they are not a playoff team. So they finished this regular season. Drake May's dominating everybody, but their talent on the opposite side of the ball just wasn't there all year long. And then they make it to the playoffs, and they play a team that shouldn't be in the playoffs. And yeah, they kicked their ass a little bit, but it's not like they were scoring 50 points on them. Like, I just think that we still have yet to see whether or not this Patriots team is ready to compete at the highest level, or if they're still building. I think either way, you should be really excited for them. I think Drake May looks awesome, but I don't know if he's like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback at this point in time, because I need to see them tested. Like, by the time we get to the Super Bowl, I think we'll know, but we haven't really seen them tested. If they end up having to play the Texans, it'll be really interesting to see how Drake May responds to that Texans defense and that Texans pass rush.
Yes, and I think that's most probable is what's going to happen. And I don't want to show my hand on the Monday night game that we'll talk about, but yeah, I think that's kind of where my mind is at exactly. And Upstate says Drake May needs a number one receiver like AJ Brown. I couldn't agree with you more. And really, what I've said about this Patriots team this entire season is we are watching a dynasty being built. And that doesn't mean they're going to go to the dance this year. Doesn't mean they're going to win it this year. But the Patriots are going to be in the same conversation as the likes of the Bengals and the Chiefs and the Ravens, if you want to throw them in there. Like the upper echelon teams that we come to expect, the Eagles. Like, the Patriots are going to get back to that. And that's where they're headed. It doesn't mean that they're going to be there this year, but they still need some pieces. And I think you see that. And that's not deterring anything from Drake May and his ability, because he has put on a phenomenal season. But to Scotty's credit, their schedule has been very favorable. And so they need
more than that, though. I mean, that's been a criticism all year, but it's like, if you go back and look at the people that they've played, it's like almost laughable. Like, you're sitting there going, they've played nobody. They've played nobody all year.
Before this, I was looking that up because I for this conversation, I knew this was going to be, a talking point. So of the teams in the playoffs, these are the playoff teams they've played. The Steelers, which you could laugh at that and say not really a playoff team, which they lost to the Steelers. You could say the Bills, which they split with the Bills. And then the only other team was the Panthers, and they got them early in the season. They beat the Panthers. So even of that, you could say like the only like worthy playoff team, if you want to even like whittle that down even more, would be the Bills. Mm-hmm. And they split that, and the Bills have kind of been up and down this season, but that's it. Other than that, it was just like a bunch of teams that weren't even close to the playoffs.
And don't forget that we're talking about the NFL this year as it's just overall inconsistent, overall kind of bad. The product is just not polished, even for the good teams. So when you're playing all of the bottom tier teams in this year of the NFL, that's serious. Like, that's a serious question mark.
Here's what I say as a team. I think Drake May is really, really good. I think he's played really, really well.
I think so too.
Even without all that, because he was leading. I don't know if he ended up leading the team in rushing this game, but there was a lot for a while during that game. He was leading the Patriots in rushing, as well as passing, obviously. But I think for the Patriots, you have to remember Vrabel did this with the Titans, and he had Tannehill. Yes, he had AJ Brown, but like a lot of that team was also held together with kind of like glue and sticks, and he brought Derek. He got the most out of Derrick Henry, and like he knows how to put a team together and win. He knows what good looks like. He's done it before. He's been in. But he has a quarterback
as
a coach.
I think Drake May is much better than Ryan
and now this is the best quarterback he's had. So kind of going to where you're at, Slaps. It's like I agree with you. Like, this team is building. Anything they do this season is all gravy, because there is no real expectation from them. This is all good to haves. Like, there is no letdown. They just keep playing and let the chips fall where they may, versus, like the Bills, even as the seed they're like, we gotta win. Now it's, we gotta win now. And so it is kind of, I know we've talked about this, and I like to say this, but is it think of this as, I posted this on the text there last night. Think of this as a Patriots fan. you've had 20 years of whatever winning. You got a little break where everybody just hating on you for a little bit. You took your lumps, and now you're right back in the same position. Like, to be a Patriots fan, man, it must be really, really nice to know that. You just got to take a little hiatus, and you'll be back at it again.
Rebuild again. I do want to just take a quick moment. I love all the comments coming in, love all the questions, love the interaction. Hit the subscribe button. We do this every single Monday, so I love you guys joining the show. Come back, join us. We are doing this every single Monday, and love all the interaction from you guys. So Mowgli says from Indianapolis, fly, Eagles, fly. Mowgli, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's die Eagles die, because the Eagles lose this game 19-23 against the 49ers.
That's nice.
And
he's really nice.
Oh, you are.
I was going to talk some shit, but he was so nice.
No, and he did prayers up for Kittle.
I'm so sorry, Mowgli. Not a sore loser. Good game to the Niners, and congrats to the fans. Prayers up to Kittle. Man, that was such a nice thing. I'm so sorry I said that.
Ben Johnson would never. Ben Johnson would have ran right past that second comment.
He would have shook his hand. He would have shook his hand.
He would have shook the first comment's hand and then sprinted into the locker room for the second comment. Yeah, we totally did Mowgli dirty on that.
Tim Fitzgerald says May moves on. Hope y'all ready for another decade of dominance. Pats are back. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we said. Cry Eagles cry. Playing good game, brother. Beaner Wiener says, man, this is so wholesome. You guys are great.
We need more racial
all love.
We need to bring this down.
Mowgli dirty. We should send Mowgli a T-shirt. That was bad. We're getting ready to hammer him.
Yeah. So Eagles are out, gentlemen. And look, I was going to say some really mean things about the Eagles, but Mowgli's so nice that it's going to make this really hard and painstaking. But I'm going to have to stay true to my colors here. I love watching the Eagles lose. There's nothing that brings me more happiness than watching the Eagles lose, because I'm sorry, Mowgli. You're the exception. I like you, Mowgli.
This rant you're about to go on now.
I do too, because I was not expecting an Eagles fan to come in here and be so kind, because that's not the MO of the Eagles fans. Eagles fans are some of the worst fan base in all of the sport, because they're so.
We gotta send Mowgli something. Hey, we gotta hook this dude up.
This feels wrong. He said laughing emojis with a heartbreak.
This is dirty.
We should just stop the show.
Keep going, Slaps. Keep going.
Oh, as a majority, the Eagles fan base, they're the worst. Like, they turn on their team so fast. They're the first to pull out a knife and be like, fuck this team. This team's the worst. Fire everybody. Get rid of everyone. So I love watching the disarray that Eagles fans really bring to the table. But I am kind of surprised that the 49ers won this game. I mean, and obviously George Kittle, and our comments are blowing up about that. That was so tough to see. I mean, he tore his Achilles in the first half. And, I want to pause while we're talking about George Kittle. Do you think he's coming back, or was his career ending?
No, he'll be back.
You think he'll be back? Because
I think he'll be back.
He loves the game too much. He's one of those dudes that he'll probably die on the field. That's the only way you'll probably get him off the field.
Well, and the thing about George Kittle too is that he's not like Travis Kelce, where Travis Kelce ages and it's so obvious because he only had one skill set. But George Kittle he could be just as effective as just a blocking tight end.
He's getting older though. He's 33.
Yeah, Travis got fat and couldn't block anyway. So then you just had a fat guy that couldn't block. But at least with Kittle, even if he gets fat and slow, at least he can still block.
Yeah, he can still block. Just move him in a little bit. He can just be a tackle.
Kittle will be back. That sucked. That was so brutal.
It did. It sucked. Jackson said, y'all see that video, tens of Eagles fans hurling snowballs at Niners fans. I mean, that's Eagles fans. That's what it is. Mowgli says, I'm an Eagles fan through and through, but I give respect when it's due, and regardless of who you play for, I never want to see a player go down. That's the love of the game, right? That's just the love of the game. That is what we all want. And when you see any player go down, regardless of if they're going against you or not, it ruins the game. And Patrick Mahomes is a glaring example. Everybody hates the Chiefs, but it's bad for the sport. It's when you lose players like that, it sucks. A lot of people. There were so many people.
Only 1/3 of this podcast hates the Chiefs.
Yeah. 2/3 is okay with
Alan, you hate the podcast. You hate the Chiefs?
I hate the podcast.
You hate the podcast. So I got to say, is the Eagles window, is it closed here? I mean, Jalen Hurts only had 168 yards, looked completely out of sync in the second half. And then compounded is, we kind of mentioned this earlier, does A.J. Brown get traded?
That was weird.
It was weird. It was on national TV. Him and Sirianni are screaming at each other on the sidelines halfway through the game. Seems like he's been really unhappy all season. There's a lot of disarray with this Eagles team. And so
I'll say
where's your mindset?
I know it's Patullo. I know Patullo's going to get a lot of the flack, which he deserves. Because
Agreed.
there's no reason they shouldn't have been attacking those linebackers yesterday. The 49ers defense is held together with like orphans glue and some other shit.
High school kids.
I don't even know who's out there, half the time. And they were playing really hard. So I don't want to take that away from them, but like schematically the Eagles weren't attacking the weakest part of this 49ers defense all day. And it almost seemed like, oh, well, like, do they know something we don't? Because they really should be. And then everybody's piling on Jalen Hurts for those throws late in the game when it's like, he's trying to do something. He's trying to hit somebody over the middle, trying to keep this drive going. You can't put this all on Hurts saying, oh, you didn't hit these throws, you didn't do this. And then, conversely, A.J. Brown, you can't be talking all that all year and then come out and drop balls and have this kind of performance in the playoffs. Like, that's not a good look either. He's definitely, like, I think he's gone. I think Patullo's gone. I think they still have the crux and core to go win a Super Bowl. That's without a doubt. This is one of the most talented teams in the NFL. It's shocking that this offense couldn't do more than it did. The defense was all worldly. They played their ass off all year. And I mean, they're probably gassed from holding this fucking team together for the whole year. You know what I mean? Like the defense was balling out so much to keep them in so many games. You think about the beginning of the season, even special teams, blocking field goals, like late plays, they were doing everything they could, and the offense just sputtered all year. There was no rhythm. There was no creativity. And it's like, yes, you can just line up and run it with Saquon, but you don't have to. You have so many weapons, so many weapons.
Yeah,
and Goddard was getting highlighted late, in this game, thank God, because that's a weapon not a lot of people were even talking about because they're so stuck on Smitty and AJ and Quan. Like, you got to, like, that was puzzling to me. And I think this year is quite fascinating how much we are all recognizing the part that offensive coordinators play this season. Because think about it, even from the Chiefs, from the Eagles, from the Chargers, everybody's like talking about their OCs. Like, where's the creativity? What are we doing? What is happening? And I think it's this season. I think if you like put a bow on this season, it's just the wasted offenses that all these teams had because of the offensive coordinators. And that's what the Eagles were to me this year.
I mean, I said this since week 3. Like, Patullo's the problem. This offense does not look the same as it did last year. And what is the glaring difference? It wasn't the personnel. They had almost everybody come back. So what is it? It has to be Patullo. And the fact that he still has his job at this current juncture blows my mind, because there is so, like, I've said this before with the Falcons, and this is why I believe Raheem Mostert was going to get fired, is like there's too much talent Raheem Morris was going to get fired is because there's too much talent on this team, right? There's even more talent on this Eagles roster, and it was completely wasted by a poor offensive scheme. And that's both Sirianni and Patullo's fault, is the fact that Sirianni let Patullo continue to ride this out for the entire season. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
That's going to be the elephant in the room, is do you let Sirianni go?
That's exactly what I was going to say, because I don't think that there's a chance that they get rid of Sirianni, but they need to. Sirianni has been a problem since he's been there, and it's just been completely like hidden by the fact that the team is so good. Howie has done such a good job putting this team together that Sirianni's complete and total foolishness every week on the sideline just makes himself look like a fucking ass. It's just, you don't notice it because the team's just winning and they're going to Super Bowls and they're winning Super Bowls. So it's like, you don't notice it. But Sirianni has this massive winning record, and I don't think he's earned it. And I think if you were to sum up Sirianni's career, it's not the Super Bowls, it's him screaming at his star wide receiver on the sideline while they're losing a playoff game. That defines Nick Sirianni. That's defined him his whole career.
If I'm Vic Fangio, I go take the steamiest of shits in Sirianni and Patullo's offices, like, immediately, because he did his job. He deserves all the flowers for what he's done for the last 2 years, honestly, because even that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, like, that was the defense. Like, yes, Hurts, threw some pretty balls, but it's much easier knowing that defense is locking shit down. And I think Vic Fangio, like, that's the star of the show there. But I still don't know how you move forward with Sirianni. And, like, I know they're going to keep him, but I just, allowing that to happen, allowing Patullo to do what he did with, like, no alterations the whole year, deserves to be fired, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, we could talk about this all night, but we got to keep the show moving here. So let's pivot over and talk about the Bills-Jaguars, because this is the last of the games, and this is I am excited to go on a rant here. Bills win this game 27-24, and Josh Allen breaks the road playoff curse. He was 0-4 in road games in the playoffs, and he has broken the curse, and there is no better time to do so than against the Jaguars. 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter. This game came down to the wire, much like a lot of these other games, and Allen won it with a 1-yard touchdown run with a minute 4 left. I don't know if you guys saw the tush push, which Sean McDermott he was like one of the only coaches that was against it and then utilized it himself. And it really wasn't a tush push. It was the offensive line just bear hugged Josh Allen and picked him up and ran him forward for the first down on that 4th and 1. I found it interesting. I would have taken a knee there and run down the clock.
Yeah.
So
and
I think I said this at the time. If they lost that game, I don't think McDermott keeps his job because of that situation.
McDermott almost did it again.
Not taking a knee there is insane, especially with the history that you have against the Chiefs in the playoffs. You have to run some time off there. That was crazy that happened.
I could not believe that.
You're lucky Lawrence is an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
That's actually probably was part of their game plan. Like, this dude's going to screw up at some point. We'll just kind of let it ride. Ironic you brought up that tush push, that he was against the tush push, because that was probably one of the best tush pushes I've ever seen, because it went for 10 yards. Like, it was like a tush carry, pull push, whatever you want to call it. Like, that was one of the first long tush pushes I've ever seen, where it just like kept going and going. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. He actually perfected it. He might actually go back and change his vote. Be like, wait a second, I didn't know that thing could go for 10 yards. Let's actually let that happen.
It was like one of the Zoids from the Power Rangers, like forming together between Josh Allen and that offensive lineman, and they were just like,
what a pull that was.
That was a good
I know.
What's a Zoid?
Yeah.
I've never heard that word in my whole life.
A Zord.
Or Zord. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know what that is either.
The Megazord, when they bring all their little Zords together.
Power Rangers after this.
Think so?
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Beaner Wiener says, praying Josh gets one. He deserves it. Look,
I'm a Josh Allen fan. I'm just going to say it. I'm rooting for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't have a team. I don't have a team in the playoffs now. I really want Josh Allen.
We have the Bears.
Well, oh, shit. I didn't say that loud. Sorry, MK. The Bears. Bear down. But yeah, if Josh Allen, I think I'm definitely rooting for him, especially for that team. Like, what a cool introduction to the new stadium when, if they can pull out a Super Bowl. But they got to do it on the road, and they finally won on the road, but they have to do it completely on the road now from here on.
Well, and MB34012 just took the question right out of my mouth. He said, Josh Allen must win it this year. It won't get any easier. I mean, that was going to be my question to you guys. It's like, is this the year for Josh Allen where it's like it will not get easier than this, just based upon the landscape of the playoffs with the teams that are currently in it?
This is a year that my place of work has a lot of people who live and work in Colorado. So I've got a lot of Broncos fans. So we argue all the time, which is fun. And I've said that if the Broncos win it this year, there's an asterisk next to it because the rest of the NFL is so dumb. Like the rest of the NFL is just so bad this season. So yeah, Josh Allen has got to make his statement now because it doesn't get any easier than this. The NFL does not get weaker than it is right now. Josh Allen has to take it. But you could argue that the Bills also are, not quite as powerful as they have been in years past.
I did see online that, because obviously they're going to go they got to go to Denver now and play the Broncos, and they're like, oh, Pat Surtain takes away everybody's number one receiver. And they said, the Bills might be playing 4D chess because they actually don't have a number one receiver anymore. So I don't even know who he's going to actually take away. But I think that's ultimately, if they don't get there, it's Gabe Davis going down. I just think that's too many injuries to overcome for that team.
Yeah. And on the other side of the ball, fuck the Jaguars. God, I was so excited to see Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence showed his true colors. This has been Trevor Lawrence. This is Trevor Lawrence. And I've been trying to freaking say this. And then he made me eat crow for the last month because he'd been playing at an MVP level. And he finally came back down to earth. And God, I was so happy to see it. The inconsistency of Trevor Lawrence, even though they almost won this game, like Trevor Lawrence is who he is. He is an inconsistent quarterback. He needs to cut his hair. I'm so fucking sick of seeing his little stupid flow come out of his helmet, and I want to punch him in the goddamn face. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's not that great of a quarterback, and I think the reason the Jaguars have found success this year is because of Liam Cohen. Trevor Lawrence has boy and girl parts. Just saying. Thank you, Beaner Wiener. I couldn't agree with you more. Sarah Jessica Parker needs his hair to get cut.
You see like a little mustache fuzz too? You see him rocking that this game? It was gross.
It was Uncle Rico.
He looked disgusting.
Trevor Lawrence is what people think Herbert is. I'm not a Herbert guy, but he's actually good. He's not good. He is more inconsistent than Justin Herbert. I've watched him this entire season because we have on the LeatherBrainz team, there's about 9 or 10 of us, and it's been a divide because part of the LeatherBrainz team thinks Trevor Lawrence is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and the other half is like, man, whatever. I'm firmly on the not whatever, but he's not a good quarterback. Liam Cohen is the only reason the Jaguars have found the success that they have this year. I firmly believe that, and I think it's in spite of Trevor Lawrence's play at times throughout the entire season. So I was so thrilled for them to have a one-round exit. I don't like Trevor Lawrence, and until he can be more consistent, this is going to be the norm, I think, for the Jaguars, unfortunately.
Boys, I want to continue the Trevor Lawrence hate because I agree. I do think Trevor Lawrence has demonstrated that he's capable of playing at a high level, which is good. Like, we want that to happen. We want good football out of Trevor Lawrence because most of his career has not been good football. Anyway, what I was going to say is I want to talk shit on them, but my wife just texted me and there's some craziness happening with my child. I got to go. I'm really sorry to cut this short, but I got to dip.
Okay. Love you.
All right. Good luck being a dad. Let's, man, now I'm going to have to run the show, and this is going to be really hard.
There's only a few more banners left. You're almost there.
We're about to wrap this up.
Almost
I
there.
can do the banners. You want the banners? I can do the banners.
I do the comments. I'll do the banners.
No, I can do the comments.
All right.
That's easy for me. I can do that.
Okay, but we're going to do an ad break real quick. Scotty, great to have you here. Hopefully we'll have you back next week, and we can talk more ball. So
I love you all.
Best of luck being a father. All right, let's take a break really quick for our sponsor.
This combo meal's got combinations. Make this thing your own creation. Entree, drink, and choice of sides. Oh, and it's free to swap fries. BK, have it your way.
We just broke down one of the craziest playoff weekends in history, and if your heart rate is finally starting to come down, it is time to refuel, baby. Coaching, between the coaching fires and the game-winning drives, you've been doing a lot of work as a fan, let me tell you, and you deserve a win. And at Burger King, you can grab a major one for under $5. The $4.99 double cheeseburger meal is officially back for January. That's flame-grilled double cheeseburger, value fries, and an ice-cold drink, all for $5. It's the most consistent thing in football right now. And for those of you who want to rule your season with something a little more premium, the fan-voted Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper is waiting for you with those crispy onion rings and peppercorn aioli. Whether you're celebrating a win or mourning a loss, remember at BK, you rule. Head in today. Hungry. Thank you, Burger King, for keeping the lights on. We genuinely appreciate it. And now, Alan, let's do the Monday night preview. Let's jump on this here. So we are going to be talking about the Texans versus the Steelers. There's wild card weekend. The game is coming on here in just a few minutes. So, I mean, this is really the storyline here is the 42-year-old legend versus the 9-game win streak is really what you could call this. So the Texans travel to the Steel City to face the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers at 42 years old is making his 22nd career playoff start. He enters tonight having thrown 0 interceptions in 7 straight games. However, CJ Stroud and maybe more arguably his defense have won 9 straight games heading into tonight. A win for CJ Stroud would make him only the 4th quarterback in NFL history to win a playoff game in each of his first 3 seasons. It is also worth noting DK Metcalf is back after a 2-game suspension, so he is
somebody
back.
In the face, a fan in the face.
I'm John Sachs is literally shaking in his boots right now. He loves Burger King. And then Beaner Wiener says, I'd rather eat dried dog shit. Hey.
You had me doing the comments. Are you just doing it all?
Yeah, I'll just run it.
I
like seeing the comments and laughing. Yeah.
Okay.
You can run the banners if you want, but I like seeing the comments.
You just do it all. I'm just going to sit back.
Okay. Beaner Wiener, you can't talk shit on Burger King because it's our sponsor. So we have to say nice things about him. Is Tomlin's job on the line? A question that was asked. No, I that's kind of what I was going to ask is, first off, Alan, before we go down the Tomlin route, who do you have winning this game tonight? The spread is the Texans -3 points.
I don't know why I think this game's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be
Do you think it's going to be ugly?
I think it's going to be like last night's. Well, because I think Houston's defensive line is going to get enough pressure to ugly up the game. And then I think the Steelers are going to do the same. I think it's just both teams are just going to ugly this shit up in a hurry.
Beaner Wiener says, let's pray nobody calls DK by his middle name.
This dude's on fire. I think the Texans are going to win this because of their ability to get pressure on Rodgers and Rodgers' inability to escape. I think that's what it's ultimately going to come down to. That's my feeling of the game. I think that line feels right. But I don't know. I mean, Tomlin just somehow pulls magic out of his ass somehow and just like wins games he shouldn't and does something.
That's in the regular season.
Shit.
That's in the regular season.
I know, but he doesn't have like Mahomes or Josh Allen going up against the first round like he normally does. Now he gets Stroud, a team that's kind of teetering,
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see a path to which the Steelers do win this, but my heart of hearts says Texans.
Okay, I agree with that. We have a question here. The Poker Robot asks, is this Pokemon? No, this is NFL football.
If we go Pokemon, we can talk.
Maybe
Pokemon.
we should do a different show about Pokemon.
Okay.
We still have a lot to talk about. So, no, it's Charizard. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
The over-under is 30.5 points. I've got the Texans winning this game too because this is just a cool little anecdotal stat, but the Texans haven't lost a game since November 2nd, right? They are on a heater right now, and really, I have not believed in the Steelers this entire season. Their offense is not good, and I think it shows. And so I think regardless, this Texans defense is so much more dominant than the Steelers offense, and that's really where they're going to find a lot of problems. So I don't see the Steelers winning this game, and really this very well could be the last game that we ever see Aaron Rodgers play. Like that is a real probability. Mowgli says, my uncle Lance, rest in heaven, was a Texans fan, so I'm pulling for the Texans. But before the season started, I picked the Steelers as a dark horse team to make an AFC championship run. Now you're playing with God.
I think you gotta go
now
with your uncle, man. I think you gotta stick with the fam. You just gotta ride the Texans out.
Screw the dark horse team, ride the Texans out. I'm gonna take the Texans as well. I mean, I think that the Texans win this game, and I think there's a chance that Rodgers gets hurt. Which we don't root for injuries here on the show, but I think there is an opportunity for Rodgers to get hurt because I think that Texans defense is going to destroy him.
You want to know a stat I saw was that Rodgers can move up the playoff touchdowns list with 2 touchdowns. He can pass Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God. So he's got like 1 year and then he's out of it again.
So you can pass Patrick Mahomes if he throws a couple.
That's wild. He's been in so many playoff games and Patrick Mahomes is still beating him out.
Isn't that funny?
That is funny. Scotty says, baby pooped up his back, but he won't stop me from saying go Texans.
Oh, see, you got to learn. Scotty. That's a skill you got to learn quickly. You just cut the onesie off and throw it away and just rinse off the baby. That's it.
Yeah, just throw him in the dishwasher. Not the onesie, the baby.
Yeah.
Rodgers will be sipping ayahuasca on the bench by halftime. I kind of tend to agree with you there.
Could be.
All right, let's do a divisional round preview. And then we'll get the hell out of here. So, and I do just want to say this, guys. Genuinely, I do appreciate all the comments. I love the fan interaction. Hit the subscribe button. We do this every Monday. So I love having you guys here. This has been a total blast, and we would love to have you guys back. So hit the subscribe button. This also does go out as a podcast over on your favorite podcast platform. So go find us over on LeatherBrainz, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you're tuning in at, and hit that subscribe button. It genuinely means the world. And if you're a social media user like we are, we're over on X and Instagram. We got graphics going out all the time. So check us out there as well. Okay, Alan, let's start with the Saturday afternoon. It's going to be the first game in the divisionals.
Ooh.
And Beaner Wiener says, subscribe. Love you, brother.
My
Appreciate it. And also, thank you for giving me a pass today.
It's only for today. That pass is only good for today.
It's only for today.
I'm not going to let you say it after today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll only say it that one time, too. I won't continue to say it. Bills, Broncos. This game, the Broncos are currently favored at -1.5. The over-under is 46.5. Really, I think the question then becomes here is the Denver defense versus the hero ball being Josh Allen. Denver set a franchise record with 68 sacks this year. Who do you got winning this game? I mean, Denver is 11-2 in one-score games.
Yep.
What do you think?
The health of Josh Allen is going to come into play because he got his ass kicked against the Jags.
Yeah,
I think he was in the tent like 4 or 5 times. He was just kind of like he was just getting his ass kicked. So that kind of worries me a little bit going into this game because Denver's no slouch either. They're going to try to get after him. I want to pick Buffalo, so I'm going to because I really want Josh Allen to continue to move on. I don't know. Listen, Denver's going to have to run the ball really, really well on offense to win this game because that Bills secondary is going to look to take everything away. So all of those Bo Nix like corner routes that he likes to throw late, give me Josh Allen and the Bills in this game. But they really got to protect Josh Allen because he got his ass kicked. If he gets hit like that again this next game, I don't think he's going to last because he was held together by tape towards the end of that one.
MB says if Josh Allen's witnessed this, he's top 10 quarterback all time. He is a fan of the show, so I'm sure he will see this. Thank you for the comment. I'm going to take the Bills as well. The interesting thing for me is I don't really believe in the Broncos offense. And that really is concerning for when you're in the playoffs and you're talking about it. Really, the heart and soul of this team is the Broncos defense. And so really this comes down to, can the Broncos defense stop Josh Allen? That's how I'm looking at this game. And I am of the belief that anytime the ball is in Josh Allen's hand, like it can happen.
Yeah, and if a team like the Broncos, like how much of what they were doing was predicated on rhythm and that they stayed in. And this week off, like how much does this week off, do they hit the reset button? I think, do they come out sleepwalking? Because this is an offense that cannot afford to come out sleepwalking.
Yeah.
So we'll see what this looks like.
And maybe they ate too much Burger King. I mean, that's certainly
within
their own possibility.
Could be.
Okay. This one's fun. This one is really fun. Two divisional opponents here. This is the Saturday night game. This is San Francisco against the Seahawks in this NFC West bloodbath. And they split the regular season 1-1 when they played against each other. So the Seahawks are favored at -7 with the over-under at 46.5. It is also worth noting this is life without Kittle. You got George Kittle, who is out with an Achilles, and really, you kind of touched on this earlier, is the Niners are playing with sticks and middle school kids and glue, and like that's their roster right now. They don't have they're injured all across the board. So, Seattle did beat San Fran in week 18 and they sold the number 1 seed. Is it possible or impossible for Kyle Shanahan 3 times in one season to get it done, or are the Niners just too banged up?
Yeah, I think the same's going to happen to Seattle. I think they're going to be flat at home. I think being that home crowd, now the pressure's on you as a team. I'm taking no, man, I'm taking the 49ers in this one. I still think the 49ers are going to go in there and win.
Do you really?
You genuinely I think they are a better coach football team. I think they've been in this position before. Shanahan's been in the playoffs before. He knows how to win in the playoffs. Listen, this is all going to turn into the NFC West playing to go to the Super Bowl and the AFC East playing to go to the Super Bowl. Tipping my hand a little bit. I think it's going to be Bills, Pats, and then I think it's going to be Niners, Rams to see who goes to the Super Bowl. And I think the Niners are going to beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I think that's my storyline of the weekend is the 1 seeds go down.
I disagree with you there. I think, look, from a coaching perspective, I think Kyle Shanahan's one of the best in the league. Like, genuinely, he is a top 3 coach in the NFL. That's what they talk about, the Shanahan tree. Like, he's at that level, right? I just think they're not going to be able to overcome the injury deficiencies that they've had this season. And that's really unfortunate, but I think the Seahawks are good. I think the Seahawks are good.
Let me open up the other door. You're playing against Sam Darnold. How much do you trust Sam Darnold?
I don't, but the problem is I haven't trusted him all season. I know, but
this is where it comes to fruition. This is like when he was with the Vikings. Remember, everybody's like, oh, Sam Darnold will show up. I think Sam Darnold shows up this game. Like, now that the playoff lights are on, he's going to pull a Bryce Young, and now everybody's expecting something. He's going to panic. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you. I'll text you.
Defense is good. No, look.
I'm telling you.
I had the Seahawks as one of the worst teams in the NFL to start the season. So for them to be where they're at right now absolutely tears me apart. But
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going to turn into a pumpkin.
This is one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised with whoever wins. But if I had to put money on it, and I wouldn't on this game, I would do it on the Seahawks, I think. T23790, believe me, my Patriots want the Steelers to win tonight. The Patriots will run around old Rodgers. We already covered the Patriots. You're a little late to the party. We rewinded about 20 minutes, but I'll appreciate you being here. Thank you. Beaner Wiener.
Patriots all the way.
Kyle knows Sam. We gave up 17 and 13 points to them. Sam just might shit the bed.
I think he's going to shit the bed.
I think it's in the range of outcomes.
Time.
I think it's probable. I don't want to say it's probable, but it's definitely would not.
Is it more likely or less likely that Sam Darnold shits the bed? Based on
I think it's more likely. I think it's more likely.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense that the Niners are in this position, honestly, because this is where like teams blaming the injury bug should look at the 49ers and be like, how do you guys hold this together? Because the 49ers like shouldn't be here with the amount of injury, but they are, and they're playing together. Now they're going to battle around Kittle getting hurt. That gives them one more thing to play for. I'm telling you, it's all shaping up.
I just think that, I mean, they're missing Fred Warner. They're missing so many people. They're missing Bosa. Like, their team is just beat up. T2 says my algorithm just sent me here. Well, welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, your algorithm did phenomenal job. Hit the subscribe button.
Good job.
We do this every Monday, and we're talking with fans the entire time. Mowgli says every time the Niners have made the playoffs under Shanahan, they made the Super Bowl. Fun fact. Are we seeing a playoff or a Super Bowl run here by the 49ers?
Okay. All right.
Let's not get crazy.
Now he has my attention.
Let's not get crazy.
Mowgli's got my attention now. Now I'm interested in this.
Scotty says Sam Darnold will blow it sooner or later.
Scotty just using all of our accounts to comment on this?
I know. He's just all over the place. He's like, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come over here. Beaner Wiener. Remaining teams in the NFC. Bears, Rams, Seahawks. Beat them all.
He's talking about the Niners. Pretty sure.
I know he is.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be the Niners. We'll be split decision on this one. I'm taking the Niners.
Okay, I'm going to take the Seahawks. And now, this is the heartbreak game for me because either way I'm a loser. And that's just the sad reality of it. This is the Sunday afternoon game, Rams versus the Bears. The Rams are favored at 4.5-point favorites, and it's Matt Stafford versus Caleb Williams. So for the second week in a row, the number 2 seed Bears are home underdogs. Stafford's experience versus the magic of Caleb Williams, who just pulled off an 18-point comeback. The Vegas Sharks keep betting against the Bears at home. Are we disrespecting Caleb Williams, or is the Rams offense with a healthy Devontae Adams simply on a different level right now? I mean, this is a lose-lose, as I said. We're a Bears podcast this year, and so it pulls at my heartstrings.
This is still a success,
said this before. It is because you got to be happy with. If you're a Bears fan, like I said, last week was the Super Bowl. The Bears Packers was my Super Bowl as a pseudo Bears fan. This is the week I think you see it fall. I think that I've said this before, and I really do mean it, and you've kind of shown your hand as well. We both believe that the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl this year, so I think it's pretty easy for us to say that we think that the Rams are going to beat the Bears. Okay. And I think they should beat the Bears.
If before the season started, they're like, okay, as Bears fans, as we are, that we're going to get to host 2 playoff games, you'd have been like, oh, shit.
With a first-year head coach.
Yeah, you would sign up for that in a heartbeat. That's a giant 100%. Success. What a meteoric success. So
it's
does
gravy, like you said earlier.
Yeah, it's all gravy. This is a good season for the Bears, regardless. And this season, I think this game will be close. I think this game's going to be very, very close. Yeah, I think so.
Vegas is at 4.5.
I think Stafford does pull it out in the end. I think Stafford, that offense, finds a way to get it done late. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been
the weather's going to be brutal though. I think that's going to be the X factor. Yeah, the weather's going to be brutal in Chicago. So I don't know. Well,
Caleb Williams going to be walking around with no shirt on all week, just preparing, and his little painted nails and purse.
I don't want him to get sick. But I think the passing game of the Rams, I think, will be interesting. Because you remember last year when they went to Philadelphia, it was kind of neutralized because of the weather. So we'll see if they can lean on that run game a little bit more. But I think that weather is going to be the sneaky X factor in that game.
Beaner Wiener says Bears outgun them, outdoor team versus dome team. But Mowgli says experience will be a huge factor in that game, and that's kind of what
that's why
I agree with you. I think Sean McVay and just it's not like he hasn't been here before, or Stafford. This is the first time that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson as a first-time head coach have been here. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams on this one. And now the last game, and then we can get the heck out of here, Alan, is whoever wins tonight being the Steelers or the Texans, and we both have the Texans winning this game against the Patriots. So assuming it is Texans-Patriots, is this the Drake May arrival game, or did the Texans defense shut them down? And this is us already assuming the Steelers lost.
Yeah, so. We're fast forwarding a little bit.
Yeah, because we looked into our crystal.
Yeah, I mean, I've already tipped my hand this whole way. I think it's going to be Patriots, Bills in the AFC title game, and then I think it's going to be Niners, Rams in the NFC title game. That's my take for the weekend.
Okay, so you're.
I think the Patriots are going to do enough. Yeah, I think the Patriots they're good. I think I get what Scotty was saying at the beginning of the episode, and I know many have said about their schedule, but I truthfully think this team. I mean, they're really good.
This is one of the hardest ones, and we don't even have the Vegas line because this game isn't actually the Texans-Patriots just yet, but we all know it is. We don't have the Vegas line. So I don't even know where they're leaning, but if I was to pick, this is really hard, and it would not surprise me if it was like a 1.5 pointer in either direction, probably the Patriots direction. This one's tough, man. Because that Texans defense is no slouch.
The Patriots defense is really good too, though.
I know they are. They are.
They're a wagon. I think they're figuring it out, honestly. I like the Patriots very much.
Fuck it, I'll ride. Let's go Patriots.
Let's
go Patriots. I could coin flip that one, and I could see valid arguments on either side of the board, but I'll take the Patriots. Do you want me
to go put some futures on this right after this ends? I'll just go put some slips out there.
I'll join you.
You with me?
I'll join you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll text you.
I'll text you. Text me. I'll get in on this. All right, that is all the time that we have. As I have said multiple times in this show, you guys, all you people that are leaving comments and joining the show, genuinely do appreciate it. We do this every Monday. We've been doing this for years, and you guys hitting that subscribe button really truly does mean a lot to a small and growing podcast such as ourselves. Hit the subscribe button. Come back every Monday. We are doing this show, and we love the interaction. We love having conversations with you guys because that's what we love to do. We love talking NFL, and we love getting other people's thoughts and opinions and having you guys involved in the conversation. If for whatever reason you can't join us on a Monday, we're on every podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Hit the subscribe button there as well. Leave us a 5-star review. And on social medias, we are very active across the board, whether it be Instagram or X, at LeatherBrainz. Join us. Join the conversation. Join what we're doing here. And I love doing this with you guys. Beaner Wiener. See you next Monday, baby. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Alan, it's a pleasure to have you here. Like I said, it's been us running solo dolo for a while, so it's great to have the guys back and being able to talk football and not just talking to our cameras. So
we knew Scotty would leave us early.
Kids, I hate them. All right, let's get the hell out of here, Alan. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's go watch some football. We
are